Hello, welcome. Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 13, Agrarian Classes and Categories, we are continuing our topic Agrarian Class Structure in India. At the top are the big landowners who still exist in some parts of the country. They own very large holdings, in some cases even more than 100 acres. However, unlike the old landlords, they do not always give away their lands to tenants and sharecroppers. Some of them organize their farm like modern industry, employing a manager and wage laborers and producing for the market. Over the years, their proportion in the total population of the cultivators has come down significantly. Their presence is now felt more in the backward regions of the country. After big landlords come the big farmers. The size of their land holding varies from 15 acres to 50 acres, or in some regions even more. They generally supervise their farms personally and work with wage laborers. Agricultural operations in their farms are carried out with the help of farm machines, and they use modern farm inputs such as chemical fertilizers and hybrid seeds. They invariably belong to the local dominant caste and command a considerable degree of influence over the local power structure, both at the village level as well as the state level. While the big landlords command more influence in the backward regions, the power of the big farmers is more visible in the agriculturally developed regions of the country. The near The next category is that the middle farmers who own relatively smaller holdings between 5 acres to 15 acres, socially like the big farmers. They too mostly come from the local dominant caste group. However, unlike the big farmers, they carry out most of the work on farms with their own laborers and the labor of their families. They employ wage laborers generally at the time of the peak seasons, like harvesting and sowing of the crops. Over the years, this category of cultivators has also begun using modern inputs such as chemical fertilizers and hybrid seeds. Proportionately, they constitute the large segment among the cultivators. The small and the marginal farmers are the fourth class of the cultivators in India. Their holding size is small, less than 5 acres, and in some cases even less than 1 acre. They carry out most all the farm operations with their own laborers and rarely employs others to work on their farms. In order to add to these meager earnings from cultivation, some of them work as farm laborers with other cultivators. Over the years, they have also come to use modern farm inputs and begun to produce cash crops that are grown for sale in the market. They are among the most indebted category of the population in the Indian countryside. As the families grow and holdings get further divided, their numbers have been increasing in most part of the India. The last category of agrarian population is that of the landless laborers. A large majority of them belong to the ex-touchables or the Dalit caste groups. Most of them own no cultivable land of their own. Their proportion in the total agricultural population varies from state to state. While in the states like Punjab and Haryana, they constitute 20 to 30% of the rural workforce. In some states like Andhra Pradesh, their number is as high as 50%. They are among the poorest of the poor in rural India. They not only live in miserable conditions with insecure sources of income, many of them have also to borrow money from big cultivators, and in return they have to mortgage their labor power to them. Though the older type of bondage is no more a popular practice. The dependence of the landless laborers on the big farmers often makes them surrender their freedom not only of choosing employers but invariably also of choosing their political representatives. This is only a broad framework as suggested above. The actual relations differ from region to region. The agrarian history of different regions of India has been quite diverse, and trajectory of development during the post-independence period have also been varied. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.